Hey, what's up guys, this is WiseGuyVito here, and today I'm going to go over another tier list with you guys on the Terminid faction. We're going to go over every enemy, about which ones are very well designed and definitely add something to the game, and ones that are very buggy and need to be fixed, and the others that just maybe need just a complete rework to them, in that they're kind of like either a worthless enemy or a very, very buggy bug. And we will go over that in this video. So like, share, and subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for the support here recently. It really helps me out. Continue that help. Hopefully we get to 1,000 subs. And let's get straight into the video. So before we get into the tier list, let's kind of go over the tiers real quick. So S tier would be, this is the pinnacle of design. This is what Arrowhead should really be going for, as far as a bug that really adds something to the game and that feels good to play against, or may not feel good to be played against because they're a really tough enemy and offers a bit of challenge in a gameplay experience when fighting against the Terminids. A tier is, there's probably like maybe 1 or 2 bugs that are kind of glaring, definitely need to be fixed, but overall they still add something to the game, and once these are fixed, these bugs would definitely be S tier as far as their design goes. B tier is kind of like the boring tier. These are kind of like just, you know, like they do add something to the game, but for the most part it's just filler. For the most part, nothing too, you know, bombastic or you know life-changing designs. They're just kind of just filler bugs. C tier is, these bugs kind of have a lot of issues as far as bugs within the bugs, and once they're fixed, they probably would be S tier bugs, but they really need to be looked at and fixed in order for them to kind of be within the realm of, you know, satisfactory within like the gameplay experience against, you know, like fighting against the Terminids. And then D tier, it's kind of a dookie bug. It's a dung beetle, right? Definitely needs to see some overall reworks to it, or massive bug changes in order for it to be even within the realm of a good playable experience. And I believe there's only one bug that really fits this mold, and it's kind of sad because it's a really cool bug, but hopefully they'll definitely see some changes. So with the explanation out of the way, let's get straight into the tier list. So let's go over kind of like the B tier bugs, in my opinion. So this would be the Warrior, the Pouncing Wilbur, the Wilbur, the Bile Warrior, and the Spewing, I guess like Vomit Wilbur. So this would be kind of like the Vomit Wilbur. So these bugs are, for the most part, these are just filler bugs. You know, some of them do offer different things, but for the most part, these isn't like life-changing designs that will really enhance the experience. These are for the most part just filler bugs, chaff, right? So they're kind of boring, but for the most part, they're just there for you to something just to shoot at, feel good about, and you know, they're not really that changing to the overall experience. And you know, some of them may offer different things. So like the Bile Warrior, for example, whenever you kill it, it kind of does like a little mini explosion, right? I think that's interesting, right? The Vomit Wilbur, right? It spits at you, and whenever you shoot it, it blows up a little bit, right? Even though it might not be that big of an explosion, but it does offer something different. But for the most part, these are like, this is just like the general chaff in the Terminids, and I think it fulfills that role well, right? But it's kind of boring, right? But overall, I feel like these are bugs that, for the most part, are kind of boring, but it's okay that they're boring because they fulfill that niche, or like fulfill that role of just being chaff bugs, right? Let's go over the Hunter. I think the Hunter is actually very well designed in that, you know, the behavior of the bug is that it flanks you and then pounces on you, right? And will actually kind of figure out when to pounce on you. I think the AI works well with the Hunters. Before the patch where they fixed the auto lock of the hunters. And the auto lock was basically, it didn't matter if you dived, it didn't matter if you flew away, it didn't matter what you did, they would have a 100% hit rate on you, because no matter what you did, they would just auto lock and just follow you as they were in midair, right? That's no longer a thing. They've been fixed. So definitely one of the better bugs in the game, in my opinion, as far as design goes. And if there's a patrol that runs up on you, they kind of split off into 2 different groups, sometimes even 3 different groups, and those groups try to flank you, which I find very, very interesting and very, very cool in their overall design. I really, really like that about the hunters, and I kind of want to see more of this type of behavioral change in the game. But overall, even though I do believe that the hunters are probably one of the more annoying enemies in the game, I do think that they're actually very well designed in how they act and everything else. So let's go over another S tier bug. So stalkers, I think, are S tier as well. I think stalkers are actually probably one of the most, if not the most, well-designed overall enemy in the game. They are terrifying because they are truly invisible now, instead of just being like a kind of like a white outline of them, right? They are truly invisible. They have a tentacle attack that pushes you away. They can kill you really quickly. They flank you. They actually come up behind you and assassinate you at times. Like, I just feel like they're just a really, really good bug, and I believe this is the standard, in my opinion, like kind of like the gold standard of how Airhead should be making any enemy type, or like any type of variant of enemy. They need to put this much care into, you know, like what this bug is, and or what enemy, or like what an enemy should be, an enemy variant should be, that offers a true like gameplay addition, right? Or like, you know, a true addition to the gameplay experience. So I'm very happy with the stalkers. Keep it up, Airhead, as far as making enemies like this, you know, and you know, with more updates, definitely, you know, take some things from the stalker as far as, you know, like your mentality, and push that to the other enemies as well. Shriekers, even though I do think they're extremely fucking annoying, I do think that they're actually a well designed enemy. Instead of you having to shoot at the ground the entire time with enemies, you have to look up to the air at times, right? It's just a flying enemy. It feels good to fight them at times, even though I do think they're really annoying. And you kind of have to, you know, play as a team at times when trying to take these out. Whenever we see a Shrieker nest, one of the first things that we do is like, okay, we've got to kill the Shrieker nest, right? It kind of makes you stop everything that you're doing and have to take out the threat, right? So to me, I feel like they really do add something to the game, and their overall design is actually in a very good spot. Before, they used to call in enemies and everything like that, and it was really, really annoying. Like, they were even more annoying than before, but in a bad way. Now they're annoying in that they're just a flying enemy that will keep on swooping down and hitting you, and if you don't do anything about it, you'll die, right? So I do think that it's a overall good addition to the game. Hive Guardian, I think, is S tier as well. It's like, again, like the behavior of the bug is, once they get shot, they turtle up. In which case, whenever they turtle up, you have to flank them, right? Unless you have like a medium armor penetrating rifle or support weapon or something like that, right? But overall, I feel like this is above chaff because of just like the subtle changes within their behavior once you interact with them. And I do think they add something overall to the overall experience whenever you're fighting the Terminids. The nursing spewers and the bowel spewers, I'm gonna put them in C tier currently. So the reason why I'm putting them in C tier is because they're just not fun to play against. And I feel like their vomit attack is still too overpowered. You know, like they nerfed it before, because before it would insta kill you. Now it sometimes insta kills you or just leaves you one shot and crippled, and that just doesn't feel good to play against. They're fun to kill whenever they pop or whatever, right? It feels really, really good. And I do think that if these are fixed, like they could be S tier, because they do add something to the game as like a big, fat, tanky enemy. One thing that I wish that the nursing spewers would do is that whenever you killed them, like little bugs would pop out. So like maybe like little Wilburs or whatever would pop out. I think that'd be terrifying and also be kind of cool. Or just maybe even some maggot enemies that like crawl on the ground or whatever, and they just swarm you and whatever, right? I think that should be really, really cool. And I like the bile spewers because like they have like the mortar hits or whatever. The kind of bullshit, but like, you know, it's okay to have like a little bullshit in the game, as long as it's like sort of fair, right? But overall, I think that really what's holding these things, or like holding these bugs back, is the vomit. If the vomit was fixed, they would be 100% S tier. But the vomit is such a glaring issue, and that's their main attack to kill you, that it just insta kills you and everything else. It's just horseshit and really needs to be fixed. The Bile Titan, I actually think is an A tier. The only thing that's wrong with the Bile Titans right now is that their head is inconsistent on whether or not it takes damage, and supposedly that's going to be fixed soon in the patches ahead in the 60-day plan that they have going on. So hopefully whenever that gets fixed, they'll be an S tier, because they do add something to the game, right? Which is, it's a big enemy that you have to take care of with the recoilless, eats, spear, whatever. Your team has to take these things out, and if you don't, then it's going to keep on chasing you and keep on throwing up on you, right? So once they're fixed, they'll definitely be an S tier, but for the time being, until they fix the inconsistency, it's definitely going to be an A tier bug. The chargers. Okay, so every single charger is going to be C tier, okay? And the reason why I'm going to put them in C tier currently, including the new one, which I really like, by the way, the Bile charger. The problem with these chargers is that they're really buggy currently. They have really weird running animations at times. They will skate 3 on you, in which case, if they try to shoulder bump you or try to like hit you with their body, they'll be skating all over the place and kill you that way as well. They just feel like a very, very unfair enemy currently. Now there's people that are going to say like there's no way of killing them. There are plenty of ways of killing a charger. Just bring a precision strike, you bring stun grenades. Like, they're fairly easy to kill. They're just kind of bullshit whenever you're kind of caught with your pants down a little bit. If you get ran over by a charger, instead of being flown out, sometimes you'll be, you know, vacuumed in underneath the charger, in which case you either die to ragdoll insta-kill, or you just get ragdolled inside of it, take no damage until they stomp on you, you know, like 5 minutes later whenever you're still stuck underneath the charger, right? Overall, I think the chargers need to just to fix in general, because they do feel very, very buggy. They do add something to the game. It's just like the bugginess is just astronomical with these bugs in general, or like with the chargers, and they seriously do need to be fixed. But I really like the addition of the Bile charger too, because it's a big cloud, that you can't really see through, and it kind of masks the other enemies that are behind the charger, right? And I find that to be very, very cool. But again, it's also plagued with the problems the overarching problems with the chargers, and definitely needs to be fixed. The Alpha Commanders and the Brew Commanders, I do think, are S tier, and the reason why I say that is because they are basically a tanky summoner, and I do think that they fit that role very, very well, especially the Alpha Commander, because what they do is that they spawn in like little red warriors that go way faster. And another thing too is especially with the Alpha Commanders, is that whenever they feel like they are losing the battle, they will run away from you and then call in more reinforcements. I find that to be very, very cool, and hopefully they add more of kind of like that frantic, like, okay, kind of scared enemy, where if they know that they're losing the battle against you and your team, they kind of just run off and kind of call more reinforcements in. I like that behavior within the Alpha Commanders. Brew Commanders, you know, they're just like a good tanky enemy as well. They're just, I mean, like, they're an exact copy of like the Alpha Commanders, just like they're a little bit less tankier. And you know, they call in like, you know, the little gray warriors and stuff like that. Again, they fulfill that niche and do add something to the overall experience to the game, and so I'm putting them in S tier currently. And the Impaler is going to be a D tier. So I really like the design of the Impaler. I think it looks cool. It has a cute factor to it, because it's like a little fat bug with little tentacles or whatever, right? The only problem with the Impaler, okay, is the tentacles, right? The overall tentacles attacks, they're really, really buggy currently. So before, they would ragdoll you and stunlock you and to an insta-kill, basically, until like, well, actually a for sure death. It was a secure death, because if one tentacle hit you, then another tentacle hit you, and another tentacle hit you, and you would just be put into a hit in a tentacles hitting you cycle, and it was very not fun, right? Now, now tentacles will land on you and not do anything to you, to the point where you can just lay down and just unload on an impaler and it does nothing to you as far as damage. I don't think that's really good design, and it makes impalers kind of like, why are they there type of thing now. They just needed to fix, in my opinion, when the tentacles pop up and give more of an indication of when they popped up, and have a slower cadence on when the tentacles attacked you over and over and over again, because I believe that the tentacles attacked way too fast, and that's what led to a lot of stun locking issues. Another thing as well is that tentacles still insta-kill you, so if they pop out of the ground, you either die instantly while flying, you know, a million miles into the air, or you don't die and you just fly out of the map and you just die through just like a traitor status, right? So they really need to fix that, and then once they fix that, or like those overarching issues, and completely just rework this enemy completely, it would be an S tier bug. But until then, it's going to be a D tier. So you guys let me know what you think down below, what you think about my Terminid faction tier list. Tell me where I'm right, tell me where I'm wrong. I'll be very interested to see what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.